Democrat Party collapsing, and Jon Stewart, who a lot of people on the Democratic side say that they want to be president. Many progressives and many Democrats would love to have someone like Jon Stewart become president, like Kyle Kalinske. Even Cenk Uygur has said that he will win a landslide. But what's crazy about this, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to smash the like button, is what he says right here about the Democrats and about Elon Musk and about Donald J. Trump. Take a listen to this. This is pretty shocking because this lets you know that America is healing and finding common ground and common sense where it needs to be. Take a listen.
How do you walk that tightrope? Because what I find is there is a gag reflex from, and I think both parties have it, a gag reflex on Robert Kennedy says, ultra processed foods are killing Americans. And I'm like, yeah,
that's right.
God awful. That's got to change. But if you were to say that, boy, are you just dogpiled. How can you agree with Robert Kennedy Jr. on anything? He's this and that. And Elon Musk says,
yeah, because he's right. And you guys know that he's right. But because he's Elon or because he's RFK Jr. in this case, Democrats dogpile you because of the person, not because of things that you can find common ground in. Right? This is all I'm saying. It's so simple. I think we can all agree that there is corruption with processed food, big pharma, government efficiency. But here is Jon Stewart finally admitting, as he should, but once again, I believe these are problems that they've created themselves. Someone like Jon Stewart, this is a problem that he has created himself.
If you were to say that, boy, are you just dogpiled. How can you agree with Robert Kennedy Jr. on anything? He's this and that. And Elon Musk says we've got waste and inefficiency in the government. And we're like, yeah, we've been yelling about that for years. And as soon as you do that, how can you, how dare you? It's really interesting.
It's not that it's interesting.
John, that is exactly what the challenge is.
That's the challenge. But why is that the challenge? Because of your party. Well, here is Jon Stewart yet again. This is the funniest part about this interview. Smash the like button if you guys can. Funniest part about this is what Jon Stewart is admitting here. I think Elon Musk and Donald Trump have broken Jon Stewart in a good way. Take a listen.
It must be such a strange thing. It is for me, for someone who has kind of complained about wanting government to be more efficient and more responsive and making fundamental changes, to see that mantle being carried out by a group of people that I don't necessarily trust to do it in a manner. That is, but I guess that's what it is when that's what losing elections is, man. You don't get to dictate anymore. You don't get to say, well,
he admits that he's been dying to do this, but it's being done by people that he doesn't necessarily trust. But that's the consequences of losing elections. You don't get to choose no more. The people chose already. The people already chose.
You don't get to dictate anymore. You don't get to say, well, what if we did it this way? That's the beauty of it. This is in the joint custody agreement that we now have in America. It is, I guess the kids they're going to live with dad for the summer, and you just got to fucking eat it. Just, I don't want them going on the lake in the raft. And you're like, well, you're not here. You're not in charge. So you don't get to decide. And that's a tough one.
Well, at least he's admitting defeat. And the conversation is so good. The conversation is just so good. Take a listen to this.
Because they've identified, look, the system that we're currently operating in, Senator, is you've got food companies that have scientists that are working to design foods to get past the chemicals in your brain that tell you to stop eating, to get past those defenses, which creates diabetes and obesity. And then you have the pharmaceutical companies who come in and say, well, here's Ozempic and here's Mounjaro. And now we're caught in this bananas cycle where these corporations are just profiting off of our incredibly poor health outcomes.
Right. All right. And that's exactly the issue we're talking about. Now, we have talked to scientists, to your point, who are saying that the food that they are advertising massively on TV, which is another issue, is addictive. It is, I want more and more of that crap. And it stays with me my whole life, which is why we're seeing an epidemic in childhood obesity 20% of the kids now, 40% of adults. We're spending $400 billion a year on diabetes-related illnesses. How's that? 1/10 of that.
Oh, so RFK isn't lying about this.
Healthcare budget. Has the government acted in any way with the urgency that is needed? Of course it has not. So Kennedy is right on that issue.
Kennedy is right on this issue. Thank you. Finally, somebody based, and this is somebody that people, I hate to say the word, but man, people worship. They worship Jon Stewart on the left. They worship Bernie Sanders on the left. This is crazy to watch these admissions live.
But your point, how we deal with that, plus, you know, the crazy stuff that he's saying is exactly.
Oh, the crazy stuff that he's saying. Well, here's another shocking admission by Jon Stewart about the Democrats. Here's another one. This is too funny.
We were prepared for all scenarios. And each one of those scenarios, it was, how is Donald Trump going to finagle his way back into the way? How is he going to use undemocratic principles? What measure of intimidation and underhanded shenaniganery will this man use to worm his way back into the Oval Office? And it turned out he used our electoral system as it is designed. And in that moment, I thought, well, fuck, I'm not sure we have a team of lawyers for that. I don't know if we have a team of canvassers for that, which, by the way, I don't ever in my life want to hear about. Our vaunted ground game will put us over the top. It's a 50-50 toss-up race. We're sure of it, but the vaunted ground game, it turns out that people knocking on other people's doors doesn't get them to do what you want them to do.
Wow. Shocking admissions there by Jon Stewart. He had another shocking admission here. He's been low-key, I don't know, leftists like this are just hilarious to me because look what he does on his Daily Show. Look at the bomb that he drops on Democrats.
Faith in the rule of law. Finally, Democrats have a moral perch from which they can judge without shame, hypocrisy, or nuance.
Breaking news, President Biden has issued a pardon for his son, Hunter Biden.
Mother... We were so close. But you know what? Get fine. It's good. It's right. It's his right. He's an 82-year-old man. Doesn't want to spend the rest of his life visiting his son in prison. Republicans get away with this shit all the time. I'm sure the pardon is a narrowly written, precisely drawn farewell note of compassion for a loved one.
The pardon sweeping, covering offenses that Hunter Biden, quote, has committed or may have committed or taken part in over the past 11 years.
Years is a very specific.
An 11-year pardon. No way. An 11-year pardon. Oh man, that's normal. Yeah, I'm gonna pardon my son, and it's gonna be an umbrella pardon for 11 years of crimes, Burisma, Ukraine, China. Yeah, that's totally normal. Even Jon Stewart, who definitely is Trump deranged, even he knows.
And not rounded amount of time. So, Hunter, I'll give you a pardon. A few years, 5 years, 10 years. It needs to be 11. And if you would be so kind, make sure this upcoming New Year's Eve is also covered. Shit's going to get crazy. I didn't know pardons could cover crimes you may have committed. I'm surprised Biden didn't include the phrase on Earth One or any.
Crazy, 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 crazy. Well, he's not the only one, because we have here Bernie Sanders saying that Elon Musk is right. Take a listen.
Should not be something that should have party line bifurcation. It's something that should have absolute and total unity. He's finally doing the tough work of rooting out the true waste, corruption, and threat to our American democracy, which is out of control spending and inflation that crushes the entire nation and destroys it and atomizes it. Bernie is going to switch parties. Watch, I posted. Because I think so. Like, right? Like, this is your red pill moment. Bernie Sanders could take, like, what was Bernie? Bernie was getting like 40% in the Democrat primaries. What if Bernie's 40%? What if you moved 40% of Democrat voters over to Donald Trump and the populist wing?
A socialist Republican? I don't know about that one.
Of what is not the Republican Party, really. What is actually a new populist party here in America. Populism is popular. Bernie Sanders is going to switch parties. Bernie Sanders could very easily become an independent in the Senate. You just say, I'm an independent. These people have knifed me in the back too many times. They literally prevented me from winning the presidency or running for president, getting the nomination. I'm part of an evil system, and I'm gone. I expect my bet, my smart money is on Bernie Sanders leaving the Democrat Party. Sensible spending is not a partisan issue. This is the America PAC.
I told you guys, Bernie Sanders is so popular with progressives. He's very popular. He's a very popular person. It's just the Democrat establishment always does him wrong. Always.
You should follow them. They're great. Elon Musk's PAC. The general public supports Doge, handling of government accountability to spend taxpayer money wisely. Man, this thing is just a nuke. Everyone is saying the same thing. Bingo card for 2024, full of more surprises. Everyone is saying, wow, did Bernie vote for Trump? I love this so much. Bernie is our OG, right? This is exactly the kind of person that is like a Bernie Sanders supporter, but would absolutely like move over to a party that is against wasteful spending. Stop asking how much people like this should be taxed. Start asking why these people waste so much tax money. That's exactly right. Happy to see this, says Lex Friedman. Everybody chiming in with total positivity towards Bernie, right?
Yeah, and I think that that's amazing because Bernie Sanders did write a letter to the Democrats. I don't know if you guys remember. He wrote a letter to the Democrats basically exposing them for how much corruption and how much BS they've been into for the last 10 years. I mean, in 2020, remember what they did to him? Bernie Sanders has been a victim of his own party, but he stays with them. He stays with no matter what. Here's another crazy admission here is an interview that was done with Anna Kasparian on The Blaze. And Glenn Beck, shocked to hear this. Take a listen.
I can definitely be honest about my own flaws and my own mistakes because I bought the mainstream media narrative that there wasn't a migrant crisis.
Really?
And yeah, I did believe it. I believe because... Look, I was an idiot because, I mean, who do you trust in today's media landscape, right? There's a lot of liars out there.
Yeah,
and when it comes to mainstream media, the fact of the matter is they do play defense more and more for the Democratic Party. And that's an issue because there was a time when that didn't happen. And so I still believed in their good faith reporting, even though it turns out, a lot of these reports would omit really important details about what's really going on. And so it wasn't until Texas Governor Greg Abbott started busing or sending migrants to blue cities where that woke me up. That woke a lot of people up. And suddenly America realizes, oh, there is a migrant crisis.
Why did that wake you up?
Well, because all of a sudden you're seeing migrants sleeping on the floor in the police department in Chicago because they don't have shelter for these people, right? You're seeing, I love watching streams of city council meetings because that's how you understand what's really going on in these cities, right? These are real people who live there and they get their opportunity to speak.
Chicago's been an amazing thing to watch.
Wild.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch every city council meeting from Chicago because it's
crazy.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And for me, rather than relying on mainstream media reporting or anyone's reporting, to be quite honest with you, what I'll do is I'll go out of my way and I'll watch, the entirety of a government function, local government function. I talk to real people and I get a sense of where hearts and minds really are. And so on election night, I wasn't surprised at all. I knew what was coming. I totally knew it was coming. I knew that Cook County was going to swing, I think it's about 8 percentage points toward Republicans. I knew LA County, and this is what I was surprised about. I did not expect Donald Trump to flip 10 counties in California from blue to red. But I guess I shouldn't have been surprised about that either, because when you look at the conditions that people are living in a Democrat-controlled state, well, yeah, you can understand why people are turning their backs on the Democratic Party. You can understand why people are frustrated at the corruption, at the loss of $24 billion that was allocated to help the homeless, when homelessness only exploded during that time, and that money is now unaccounted for.
Unaccounted for? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would say somebody in the comments said that California has swung crazy. Yeah, I saw California. Even after the election, I looked at the numbers in New York City, and in the Bronx, and in New Jersey. Man, I would say, if there's a successful 4 years, that I believe that there will probably be a lot of success in these last 4 years, even though there is a lot to fix. I gotta say, man, I have to say that I will not be surprised if you guys over in New York, California, and New Jersey become a purple state in the next 2 elections coming up by like 2032. I gotta say, man, I would not be surprised. I just wouldn't. Make sure to smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you guys think about Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart is somebody that people on the left are rooting. They're rooting for them to legitimately have a run at the 2028. You know, I know they're throwing AOC's name out there, but this is who they want. They would love. Cenk Uygur said that Jon Stewart will win in a heartbeat. I don't know. I don't think he would win in a heartbeat. But I think that Jon Stewart working with Elon, I think that would be dope. I would love to see Bernie Sanders working with Donald Trump on the credit card caps, right? Like, there's a lot of work to be done, but this is who they want. This is who Democrats are, or at least progressives are throwing out there. And I got to say, I really want to know what you guys think about this. All right. Appreciate you guys coming through another show. And somebody asked, did AOC win in my area? Yeah, she won. She won the Bronx by a lot. Which is just crazy. She won Bronx and Queens, both her districts. She won by a lot. All right, guys. If you just watching this for the very beginning, go all the way back and smash the like button.